Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining today's call. My name is Nicholas Thede. I'm a sales enablement manager with ClickDimensions, and I wanted to kick things off by introducing Sunil Bogal, who is our product marketing specialist. He'll be providing a high-level demonstration of ClickDimensions social marketing. As we go through this process, if you do have any questions, please do enter them in the chat, and we'll be able to cover them after the demo. With that, I will hand things over to Sunil.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you very much. And hey, everyone. I'm just sharing my screen and you should be looking at a slide here. So, hey guys, so I'm Sunil. I'll be taking the next 25 or 30 minutes or so, and I'll be taking you through our social solution. Before we dive in, I just wanted to actually run through a few slides. Here are some interesting facts and stats behind social. And it really does give an insight as to, why every business should have a social media solution and why we should be active on social media. A few statistics here, this just essentially says that 63% of global internet users say that they're constantly connected online, and this is going up in trend. You can see here from 2015. Things that we already know, I suppose, right? Here it shows that across the globe, daily time spent on social is forever increasing. And with the lockdown, of course, these will have risen exponentially. And I'm looking forward to seeing their next report. This bit of research here actually shows that people are using social media to actually research and to find products to buy. So if they're not seeing your brand or enough of your brand online, it's likely to assume that they're seeing your competitors. So social media isn't just for staying in touch with family and friends. Businesses are more active than ever, pushing their products and services online. There is actually a social path to purchase here, which demonstrates methods as to how you can sell on social to get an ROI there. So really interesting stuff. And the last couple of statistics, 81% of marketers have integrated social media and traditional marketing activities, such as email marketing. I assume you guys are all doing email marketing. And from what you'll see today, social media can be an amazing addition. It can be a platform which can drive new traffic into existing email campaigns that you have. So this is why 81% of marketers are leveraging social with what they're doing today. And 93% of marketers in general use social as a content marketing tactic. And it is very tactical what we can do. And this is what we will spend time focusing on today. So that was just some quick statistics, but the bottom line, this is what every business wants to achieve when it comes to social media. These are typical benefits, from employee advocacy to building brand awareness and loyalty, increasing your website traffic as well, directing people from social into landing pages, customer insights, to listen in on customer conversation, social media conversation. You can engage with customers as well. So social media is often leveraged as a customer service portal or just another method of communication. Of course, we can leverage social for lead gen and sales. This is what we do. This is what every business should be doing. I'll show you ways in which we can do that. And social does enable like omni-channel campaign management as well, where you can have multiple funnels set up in one ecosystem. And again, this is something that we can fulfill because we have this integration with our social suite and our CRM. So yeah, I mean, these are the benefits that everyone strives to achieve. But the next challenge is, well, how do we do this? Because I get the statistics and I understand that there is value using social, and yes, these are the benefits that I want my business to have, but what do I do? So this is where our tech can help. We have capabilities. We have a full social media suite which exists outside of the CRM. It's very user friendly, and we're aware that social marketers, they don't use the CRM and they're used to using social media platforms. You may have technologies in place already or multiple tools. So we have the technology to address the how. And as we open these up over the course of the demo, we'll tackle these one by one so we can actually show you the value of what these things are and how you would actually do it with our technology. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into it and let's unpack these things here. Social publishing. This is going to allow us to efficiently schedule and manage content across all your profiles and networks. Why do we want to do that? Well, of course, this is going to increase our brand awareness. It's going to increase our conversion rates. It's going to drive traffic. And this is something that takes a lot of time. So we need to be able to do this at scale very quickly. So let's look at our social publishing capabilities. So I'm just bringing on a web browser. So you can see I'm logged into the platform already and I'm presented with a dashboard. So immediately I will be able to start, I can start to understand the value of my social strategy, right? I can see in the last 30 days, 391 posts have gone out. I've had 600 clicks. I've had 1 conversion. Now, I do have the option to apply a monetary value to a conversion as well. So if you are an e-commerce business, maybe you want to assign a conversion to a particular thank you page when someone buys a product or service, right? So we can add monetary values here. In this demo environment, it's just dummy data, so we'll have to use our imaginations a little bit. But immediately you can see this is valuable because I can log in and I can report to my business that, hey, look, there's value in what we're doing with social. This is how we're actually impacting revenue. And as we scroll down on this dashboard, it's just a summary so we can see the posts sent over time, because of course we want to be consistent and we want to ensure that when we have high levels of posts going out, we have higher levels of engagement and traffic, etc. And down below, it just gives us a summary of active campaigns that we're running. So we'll look at these things in a bit more detail over the course of the next 25 minutes or so, but this was just the introduction page. So let's actually look at the publishing as per our slides. Now, in publishing, if you guys want to have a deep dive, reach out. This webinar is designed to give you a high level look at some of the capabilities and some of the features. Of course, I won't be able to explore everything today, but I'll show you very quickly some of the key points around this solution. Let's look at the calendar first of all. Yes, we can create individual campaigns. So essentially what we can see here is our schedule for this particular month. You can see we have different colors as well, yellow, purple, and a maroon. These indicates different campaigns. We have a filter so we can specify, maybe we're interested in a particular campaign. You can see the different colors that we have, so we can filter the data in this way, and by various other methods as well. The calendar here is pretty slick. If we're more of a visual learner, or we prefer visual things, we have this extended view so we can get a really good overview of our social strategy for the month. And when it comes to creating a post, if we just click new post here, you can see a pop-up box opens where we have the choice to post across Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well if you have an account. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate a post purely because this already has a post made up. And you can see we have a full screen option as well, so you can actually see what the post will look like on the other end. And you can see we have the option to schedule posts, and we can assign things to a particular campaign and more. But what I will take the time to show you is how laser focused we can be with a post. If it's on LinkedIn, for example, yes, we can publish to anyone on our network, but we can also specify a targeted audience. So if I wanted to, maybe I wanted to target companies of a certain size or in a certain industry, maybe this campaign is geared towards people of a certain job title, etc. When it comes to Facebook and the other profiles, we can do location-based targeting. So maybe I am in London, right? So maybe I want to focus on my posts. It's a regional bit of content for London. I can actually select that as well. So some cool features there, a really nice view, so we can actually see, what our plan looks like for the month. But let's take a second just to explore some cool features here, some differentiators that maybe you haven't come across. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just dive into a campaign. I'm just going to go into messages, and you can see these are what we call our message assets, right? We create messages here and we schedule them out. You can see we have an approval process as well, which we can get into, when we do have a deep dive conversation, but just enough for now to know that we do have an approval process. So you can have contributors in your organization helping to create content, which can then go to maybe the head of social or marketing, somebody senior, to vet the posts and to edit the posts and to provide feedback, etc. But what I wanted to focus on is this message generator, and this is a very, very powerful tool, and how this will help somebody's day-to-day. In social marketing or as a content creator, we spend hours doing research and creating posts, right? And it's very typical for social media marketers to take existing content such as blog articles and to chop this up into pieces, bite-sized pieces, which we can use for our social media. to drive impressions and to drive clicks, etc. But this takes time as well, so we have this message generator, which is really, really useful, where we can paste a URL in. I can just go to a blog of ours. I'll just use this one. Actually, I copy that, I can paste this in. And what our solution will do is it will actually go off and it will actually find and surface popular hashtags which we should be using. If we click next, here is where we can instruct the platform to say, well, okay, why don't you go off and create me however many pieces of content I want across these platforms. LinkedIn's not here because you need an image, of course. This is a blog article, and for YouTube, you need a video. But it will work for Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And as I hit generate, what you'll notice within a few seconds, it's created the posts as drafts. And it's up to me now if I want to send this into the into approvals. But just to have a look at what the post looks like, you can see it's very slick. Here's a bite-sized piece of that blog with an image, with a link so people can click on it. And this is how it looks across the various different networks there. So very, very useful. Of course, when we create messages, we can delete these as well in bulk, which I'll go ahead and do. And that is how you're able to create content at scale. So if you're not doing a lot with your social media today, this is how you're going to be able to hit the ground running. If you're currently publishing one piece of content a day, well, you can see how very quickly you can extend that to maybe 3 or 4 pieces of content a day. So in addition to taking assets and creating posts from these, I'll just show you one other cool feature, which is our content curation feature. And you can see you can put in keywords here, right? So here's this one on the COVID-19 vaccine. So you can see here are all these popular articles. So this is a very good way to actually uncover what's going viral, what's actually being read about and spoken about, today. So when I produce a piece of content, of course, I want to produce something that's relevant, something that's current and trending, because, this is going to help my website actually rank higher on Google, and we're providing great relevant content. So from within here, we have the option to go to the actual page and read the article. And we can also share this as well directly from here. We can schedule this out as well. We can save this into our message assets for later, or we can discard this if this isn't of interest. So this is a great way to round off your social media strategy. It's great to create your own content from assets that you have, but to round things out, it's always a good idea to share what's going viral as well. And you can see in the settings, we can actually be a bit more laser focused. You can see, okay, yes, I put the COVID-19 vaccine in, but how about you also contain the UK and statistics? So here, unsurprisingly, we can see a bunch of UK-based articles here. So very, very interesting, very, very cool. You can see here how you're going to be able to create things and manage things at scale, guys. So if we just go back to our slide and let's move on, if we imagine we've created the posts and we're driving traffic to particular landing pages, well, how can we map this back into the CRM? How can we turn these social posts into lead generators? Well, let me show you how, right? So if I bring my browser back on, and this time around, we're in the CRM, and I'm just showing you a regular contact record. And typically, this is their marketing journey, as you can understand it in the CRM today. So for the website visits, you can see the pages they've been visiting, and of course, we can see which forms and surveys they've also interacted with. But what we can also do for a contact is we can actually look at their social click information. So this is specifically for social media. So now I understand this particular contact or lead has been engaging with particular campaigns on particular platforms. This individual has clicked on particular links as well. So I have more information, about this particular contact. I already know what this person is interested in. Social media is more about having engagements and interacting with people on a more personal and interest-driven level. So this is how we're going to be able to understand that from their persona. So very useful. We can capture their social link click information, so we can actually see, yes, our social media efforts are driving, behaviors and driving leads into the system. But where it gets more interesting is where we tie this into our campaign automation. So if you remember that statistic around, I think it was 81% of marketers are fusing social with traditional marketing methods such as email. This is how we're able to do that. Here's an existing email campaign via our campaign automation, and you guys probably have these set up, or you're setting these up, or you have something similar in place. And this is working, right? This could be a popular campaign, let's imagine. But we have this very, very powerful trigger here called social clicks. So we can click into this and I can assign a particular social post to this, right? So maybe that social post we create includes a URL to a particular landing page or an event, whatever it may be. or maybe it's a piece of content that's just about a particular event. But anyway, once we assign a post to it and we have somebody clicking on that URL that's in this social post, we can then tie them into an existing campaign. So this is how very quickly with our social solution, you're going to be able to hit the ground running, and you're going to be able to start getting a return on that investment immediately, leveraging existing email campaigns that you have. Essentially the social solution will just be a platform in which we're gaining social media traffic, tying them into existing campaigns. Very, very powerful trigger. Now, if we just go back to our slides here, let's talk about social listening for just a second. Now, because we have a full social media suite that exists outside of the CRM, we are able to have access to other capabilities and do other things. So under streams, you can see here are various ways in which we can listen in on conversation that's happening on social. I've split these things out into a couple of different sections so we can understand, yes, we can focus on our own channels. So you can see for us, we're monitoring our Twitter feed, our LinkedIn feed, Facebook and Instagram. So it's a great way to ensure that our posts are going out on time and they're looking as they should. And we can actually start to understand the engagement metrics on our posts as well, how many times things got retweeted, etc. That's great, and there's value in that. We can also do keyword searches across Twitter and Instagram. For Instagram, it will be with a hashtag, and for Twitter, it will be with keywords. And there are a load of different operators we can use to be a bit more laser focused. So we can actually do research on anything. So maybe it's for a particular product or service or something that we're just interested in. We can put these keywords in and we can see how people are talking about that particular subject. You can see I've got social marketing, I've got coronavirus, I've got email marketing, I've got AI, artificial intelligence. Now, where things could get even more valuable is when you start to look at the competition or other brands of interest. This works across Twitter. It's publicly available, unlike LinkedIn and Facebook, which are really tied down to various reasons. Twitter is open, so across Twitter, you're able to plug in any Twitter profile and have a look at other people's social media go-to-market strategy, right? If we consider Hootsuite, another social brand, as a competitor, we can actually start to understand, well, this is interesting because they're very much engaging with their audience on social. They use it as a customer service platform. This is actually quite cool. Maybe this is something that we can do. If it's maybe dynamics, we can actually start to understand what they're talking about, what's going viral, what are things I need to be talking about, what are things I need to be sharing. And if it's maybe another email marketing platform, we can actually start to understand what they're doing as well. So what are they doing on social media that we should be doing as well? So just great for general research, guys. As we're unpacking these a little bit more, social advocacy, I am a massive advocate of advocacy. It really does work. What is it all about? Well, social advocacy is all about empowering employees with the ability to share company content. And it serves a couple of purposes, right? So for one, the organization benefits because their employees are extending the reach of their brand across their individual network. But it also helps employees and partners start to build their personal brand and to develop their voice on social media as well. So this is how it works. So in the social solution, you can see we set up these different boards, and we have one for some of our employees and we have one for our partners. If I click into our employee one, you're going to be able to see here are all these marketing approved bits of content that are encouraged for us employees to share. It's great content. We can split these topics up, these content into various different topics. So maybe I had a team based in Germany and I needed to produce some regional content for them. I could provide those employees with access to regional content. Or maybe I want to empower my sales employees to have sales collateral. Or maybe it might be my brand ambassadors and I want to empower them with industry thoughts and tips and tricks. So you can decide how you want to create these topics and how you can assign people to these. But what this looks like on the user end is a user will have their dedicated portal, an employee will have this, and it's very, very easy to use. It's not labor intensive whatsoever. In reality, I log in maybe once a week and I can see all this company approved content here. And immediately I can just start sharing this from my Twitter, my personal LinkedIn. I can share it now, or the employee will have the ability to automatically schedule this. So at some point in the week, when their individual network are most likely to be engaging, it will actually post it then. It has intelligence behind this. So you can imagine however many employees you have in whatever regions, if we can get as many people as possible, just sitting here for a couple of minutes a week, just sharing this content, you'll be able to see very quickly how you'll be able to build the brand's awareness, and footprint online. So you can see how really, really easy it is to just share this content out. Employees can make suggestions as well. This is quite useful. We have teams in specific regions and we need to produce local content. So we have people who can provide these suggestions as well. And lastly, I'll just show you this gamification feature, which is pretty interesting, just for good fun, just to see which employees are sharing content. So advocacy, really, really useful. And lastly, the social customer care side of things as well, guys. I'll just take another 5 to 10 minutes of your time. But again, we're only scratching the surface, so if you do like what you see, reach out and let's really map this to your requirements and to how you're doing things today. But if we focus on the unified inbox that we have, you can see we're consolidating all direct messages and comments on our content across various different channels into one place. So we could actually see everything that's coming in, so we won't have to sift to different networks and use different devices. For Instagram, you can only post from your mobile, for example. But we could pull everything into one place, and you can have an assignment capability as well, which can be quite useful, right, for customer service, or maybe somebody wanting to buy something. I want to get this out to a member of sales. Maybe it's a customer complaint. I want to get this to customer service. And then you can see whoever logs into the platform can have their own inbox as well. So they can see, what it is they need to respond to, and they can respond directly from within the platform as well. All right, so very, very useful, the unified inbox. And lastly, guys, these were just covering the core capabilities, but I just wanted to take a second to actually show you the reports, and then I think we'll leave it there. We do have a wealth of analytics as well, and these are all about proving the value of social, right? Because yes, we're going off and we're doing all these great things, but how is it really impacting the business? So you can see by looking at these reports, by exporting these and scheduling the exports, we're going to have these ready-made reports for us, and these are brilliant, right? These acquisition one just quickly shows us for this particular date range, we can filter for a particular campaign or activity from a particular network, etc. But we're going to be able to see, okay, for how many posts, meant clicks, meant conversions. It gets pretty interesting when we go down and we look at engagement. As a social media marketer, I need to understand my metrics, because once I understand my metrics, I have goals that I can then set. So I can actually understand for this period of time, 315 posts went out. We got into the faces of nearly 33,000 people, and we had X amount of engagements. Well, I've already shown us today how we can increase this post count. So it will be very easy for me to get this to 600 using the message generator or searching for viral content. Now, in theory, if I can get this to 600, then my impressions will go up, which means engagement rates will go up, which will mean conversions will go up as well. But by understanding these metrics, we can actually start to set those goals. As we scroll down, we can get into the weeds of the metrics as well. If you wanted to focus per engagement, from link clicks to likes to comments, etc. But down below is more useful information that we can pull into a meeting, right? Let's talk about this. And maybe it's a case of, hey guys, fantastic job on LinkedIn. It's really driving our engagement. 80% of our engagement comes from LinkedIn. Let's carry on doing what we're doing there. But Facebook isn't going so well, guys. So let's talk about this, right? Let's research Facebook best practices. What can we do more of on Facebook? Let's measure this over time, because the next month we want to look at this. We want to maybe get this to 20%, right? And maybe Twitter is growing, and that's something we need to be aware of. Down below is where we start getting into that automagically scheduling. So what this is essentially showing is behavior of engagements, right? So the bigger and greener the bubble, the more information there is and engagement there is behind it. So we want to stay away from the red zones. And this kind of makes sense, right? If we look at maybe on a Monday morning at 10 a.m., we have fewer metrics than a Wednesday at 10 a.m. And this makes sense because on a Monday, maybe people are coming in and they're getting their week set up and they don't have so much time to spend on social. But come Wednesday, they're in the groove and maybe they have a bit more free time. So that's why they're more likely to engage on a Wednesday. So if I wanted to publish any campaigns or drive traffic to a landing page or to gain subscribers, maybe I want to do this on a Wednesday morning, maybe then on a Monday. Simple example there. But this just demonstrates how we can actually use data to start making decisions to drive our social media strategy. As we go down, I'll show you some of the more interesting reports. If we look at content, this is a fantastic one. So again, this is great for content ideation and to let the data steer us into the direction that we need to go down. This is telling us our top engaged with links as well. So let's do a follow-up series to these, or let's promote these again. You know, let's create campaigns off of the back of what was engaged with. If I wanted to actually understand the buzzwords that were driving the engagements and the clicks, let's have a look at these topics. You know, let's do another ebook, or let's talk more about essential elements, or let's talk more about the ClickDimensions team, all those design tips that we did. You get the point. And I'm just going to open up reports here just to demonstrate. I won't go through these, but we can get really granular with the reporting as well. So depending on what it is you're looking to achieve, we will be able to produce reports which will help keep you on track and to help set goals, but to ultimately prove the value of your efforts to the business. So guys, this was just a very, very, very quick overview of our social solution. I threw a lot at you there in a short space of time. I'm conscious not to go over 30 minutes because I know that's when attention spans can start wavering. But hopefully this has piqued your interest. So if you did want to reach out and schedule some time with myself, let's talk more about this. Thank you very much, guys. And if there are any questions, I will refer to the chat box.
Thank you, Sunil. And I did see a couple of questions within here. The first one I wanted to call out is the question is regarding the social suite. How do we know if our organization has this function?
Okay, so by default, if you're a ClickDimensions customer, you'll only have access to what we call the social publishing capability inside of the CRM. If you don't have access to that full platform, then you won't have access to the solution. It's a separate service. I assume you would know if you have it, but you can also just double check with your account manager anyway to find out if you already have this or not.
Thank you, Sunil. Another question that we received, and I just wanted to make sure I had this one correctly, but there was a question about the cost of extra features. I believe it's around advocacy board, but if you could kind of answer overall, is there a general explanation for costs for these features when using ClickDimensions?
Yeah, so generally speaking, there are packages, there's a 3-tier package with add-ons as well. What they are, I'm not particularly necessarily aware of. Reach out, let's talk, let's have a look at the packages and pricing. But essentially, it does have different tiers, and there are add-ons you can buy. For social advocacy specifically, yes, you can increase the amount of employees you want to have access to it.
Thank you, Sunil. I wanted to keep it open for just another minute or so to see if there anybody else that does have questions. If there are questions or feedback, please do provide those in the chat. We'll watch that for the next minute or so just to see if anybody else had anything else they wanted to cover. And there was a question about a link to the recording. I will follow up with you directly. So if anybody else would like access to the recording, you can either reach out here, or if you have questions about this or want to get to the recording itself, then you can also reach out to your customer success manager. And Sunil, clarification on that original question about the cost, just looking for a general range in cost for the tool and any add-ons. Sunil, I don't know if you're still there. Or might be on mute.
Yeah, sorry there, Nicholas. Let me just look into that. Just give me a couple of seconds. I'll bring up.
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so prices range from $250 a month up to $600 a month. And there are add-ons that you can purchase on top. So yeah, it starts from $250 per month, Nicholas.
Thank you. Okay. Perfect. Okay, it looks like that helped. And then for everybody else, I did receive your request for recording, so I'll make a note of that and reach out. It doesn't look like there are any additional questions. Like I said before, if anybody does have additional questions through this process, please do coordinate with your customer success manager. Again, thank you for everybody for joining the weekly social marketing call. We do appreciate your time and look forward to conversations in the future. Thank you, Sunil.